What's up everybody, Jared here with another good old movie ranking. Now if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and bell icon to stay up to date for this channel's newest reviews, reactions, and ridiculousness. So I saw Shazam the other day and I thought it was about time to rank the 7 DCEU films from worst to best. But before I get into my ranking, let me know what your guys' ranking is of these 7 DCEU films in the comments down below. I'm curious to see how you rank these films and if they're gonna be close to mine or way far off. Now without further ado, let the ranking begin. Landing at the number 7 spot is the Oscar-winning Suicide Squad. Somehow, I don't know how, but this movie won an Oscar. But for reals, rewatching Suicide Squad, this is essentially a train wreck of a movie, and you can see that they heavily leaned into the two stars, Will Smith's Deadshot and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, to really drive this movie. Like, this is supposed to be an ensemble movie with all of these different characters, but it is heavily leaning on these two characters. And I'm not saying that their performances are bad. They're probably the two standouts in this movie, but the rest of this movie is just these cool like music video shots or just one-offs. Like, each introduction of each character is like a stat screen of all of these different factoids about that character, but they're on the screen for maybe 0.2 seconds, so you can't even read these interesting things about these characters. And adding to the pile of things that just did not work in this movie is Slipknot. He doesn't even get a title screen like all the other characters. Enchantress's sexy dance or whatever like that. Jeez, I hit the microphone. And the fact that the villain is just this huge CG god, but people with a baseball bat are supposed to defeat them. Next up is the huge team-up movie, Justice League. My man, play that trailer. That's about the best thing that we got of this movie. We got about, what, 28 different trailers, each of them pretty good. I mean, the team-up of all of these different characters was pretty awesome. It's cool in this, but it just happens too soon. Like, we aren't really familiar with any of these characters, so then we're getting this ensemble movie of them going up against this huge cartoon, or rather computer generated god, Steppenwolf. I like to dream. Yes, yes. Again, this is just a train wreck of a movie from DC. Like, the way that Superman is brought back to life, his mustache fiasco that we all have been making fun of, Cyborg's kind of jankety or clunky CGI, combined with the completely CG last hour of this movie, all of our heroes fighting these aliens. Superman shows up, he can't be defeated, that's the end of the movie. Like, DC, you tried with this one, but you released it way too soon. And not far off from Justice League is the matchup of the decade. Night versus day, human versus alien, Batman v Superman! No, okay. Again, DC misses the mark with this one because essentially these two characters go against each other for maybe 30 minutes of the movie, realize that both of their mother's name is Martha, they team up, they become friends, and they take the rest of the movie going against this doomsday CGI monstrosity just wreaking havoc. Like, that's how all of these movies end. Everything is just set up so awkwardly and clunky in this movie because, like, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is the one that's really pulling the strings behind the scenes. And like I mentioned before, it ends with another CGI huge action battle, whatever, which is extremely commonplace in these movies. I will say that the one good thing is the introduction of Wonder Woman, her awesome theme music. Like, they soon realized that Wonder Woman is the character that they should be working off of, so this movie wasn't entirely a flop in my eyes. There was some good to be taken from it. Jason Aquaman flops into the number 4 spot for me because James Wan was able to take this character, one that a lot of people honestly made fun of, and make this a character combined with Jason Momoa's portrayal into someone that, like, people really liked. I mean, this made $1 billion worldwide, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed this film. It's a sprawling story with oceans of lore. Oceans. But also the visuals of these huge all-out wars between all of these weird undersea creatures, or like a red flare against the dark trench scary creatures. Like, there was a lot of good imagery in this movie combined. I can't even forget about the essentially they're one-shots or really close to like one-shots. James Wan was able to follow these characters through a house or a town or a building, and those are by far the standout. However, obviously hitting at the number 4 spot, there's some negatives in my eyes, and I thought that this movie was a little bit long in my opinion. I think it was like 2-ish, 2.5, and it just seemed like the middle part of the movie kind of dragged when Mera and Aquaman go into the desert. They're trying to solve this stuff. Like, that part of the movie, it didn't work. And also, I have no idea why Pitbull's song is in this movie. It just completely throws you off. I mean, just take that one song out, replace it with a different one. Might be a little bit better. These next 3 movies hit so close to me, so it's kind of hard to rank them, but I'm going with Henry Cavill's Man of Steel hitting at the number 3 spot. I remember watching this a couple times. I'm like, no, hard pass. Like, this movie, honestly, I did not like it at all. But then rewatching it and kind of understanding where they're coming from, this is a great origin story for the character, because maybe a good hour is this origin story of him saving someone when he was a child, and then also like throwing logs into a truck or saving people on an oil rig. Like, I really enjoyed that part, along with the Krypton Jor-El stuff that really sets up that origin story. And when Clark Kent slowly figures out his powers or the potential of his powers, that's when the movie gets sort of more into the action. The Kryptonians show up, and you know, the last hour, that might be a little too much action, because it's literally just action and destruction for the last hour of this movie, which again, I think the problem with all of these DC movies is that they're just too long. They're really drug out. It becomes exhausting at a point, but I did really like Henry Cavill's portrayal of this character. I don't know if it's going to happen, to get an actual sequel to Man of Steel, but we will see. Hitting at the number 2 spot is the newly released Shazam movie. I just thought this movie was so darn wonderful. It's lighthearted, it's fun. DC really took a different direction with this film, and don't get me wrong, like, there is some dark stuff in this movie as well. This lighthearted tone combined with kind of a family-oriented or emotional aspect to the movie is another thing that I really enjoyed. But Zachary Levi, his portrayal of Shazam, you can tell that this guy loved playing this character. He's having so much fun. He's just dancing, having fun. Like, this guy was born to play Shazam. I hope to see him in at least a sequel or a lot of the future installments in the DCEU, but just him combined with this like big Tom Hanks, big scenario where he's small and turns big, it's surprisingly funny as well. I will say that maybe some CG elements or some nitpicky things were what I had problems with the movie. I mean, this was so close to being my number 1, but this is a must-see. Definitely go see Shazam. And hitting at the number 1 spot is none other than, cue up that music, Wonder Woman. Man, just from the music and the lore and the endearing but yet badass portrayal of Wonder Woman by Gal Gadot, like, this movie, this is one that definitely DC, I don't think that they were expecting this to do as well as it did, and you can see that in the future installments, they're definitely leaning on that Wonder Woman character a little bit more. For some of the negatives, I understand that some of the story beats maybe don't line up. It kind of drags on towards the end, and of course, it falls into that big CGI ridiculous fight at the very end of it. But other than that, like, the Amazonian woman's, like I mentioned, Gal Gadot, the surprising relationship between Chris Pine's character and Gal Gadot, and also I liked how Wonder Woman kind of had this like ragtag group of merry men to really help her kind of fight in World War I think it is. But the 2 things that really stand out for me, that are the best parts of this movie, the no man's land scene where she's just going across that field, getting shot out, holding stuff back with her shield. That is by far the highlight, the best scene in the movie. And then again, her theme song, like, that is a kick-ass Amazonian theme song. Like, whenever that comes up, like, you get hairs on they're standing up. That music is so good. So that is it, my ranking of the 7 DCEU films from worst to best. Now I'm curious, What's your guys' ranking? Let me know what your ranking is down in the comments below. I'm curious if they're the same as mine, a little bit different, or I'm way off compared to you. Anyways, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos over there, you know, movie reviews, trailer reactions, fun comedy skits, even more movie rankings. I'm hopefully gonna be able to do a few more of these ranking videos coming up in the months. Follow my social media there, subscribe down there, hit that bell icon, stay up to date on this channel's videos, all of that jazz. Until next time, I'll see you later.